Margie, are Democrats bending too much?
I don't think Democrats are bending too much. Democrats are coming to the table. The president's coming to the table. And the Gang of Six, this bipartisan group, includes 3 Republican senators and 3 Democratic senators. So there is a contingent that is trying to move this forward because we need it. We need to have an agreement. There is a contingent of House Republicans who are defiant and interested in standing in the way and trying to say that it doesn't matter if we raise the debt ceiling or not. There's no such thing as default. And that's causing part of this problem. But there is a group now that really seems to be trying to come toward an agreement and keep the ball moving.
Mm-hmm. Okay, same question for you, Paul. Republicans, are they giving too much ground in this negotiation?
Oh, absolutely. I think Republicans have given way too much ground to begin with. The frame of the debate has been lost since day one with how this president's been handling it. He says, oh, it's about taxes versus spending cuts, when the reality is it's about raising the debt ceiling or not raising the debt ceiling and what should be giving away to Republicans to make them get on board with this, to have them get on board with this. It is a major problem that we continue to spend the way we do, $1.7 trillion in a deficit this year alone, and then we're going to raise the credit card limit again. I can't tell you of a regular American family that lives that way. So when you have it on the national level, people are shaking their heads saying, well, wait, why do you get to raise your credit card limit? Republicans have to really get back on the ball with this.
You know, I'm seeing a lot of editorial out there today. In the Wall Street Journal, there's an article about how House Republicans can seal a budget deal, and there's talk about, well, you could just have a smaller raise of the debt ceiling. You don't have to raise it by so much. And then, Margie, there's also talk out there that the president might look at $4 trillion in cuts, but he might look at maybe a little less. I mean, where do you two see some common ground? Margie?
Well, I think there are a few things. That article that you mentioned is by Karl Rove, where he talks about this in terms of plays, and Republicans can run another play, and they can try another chance to run a play as if they're football players rather than leaders who've been elected to try and fix the economy.
But that's what strategists do. You do some of that, too.
But
everybody does it.
It's just a sign of what is happening with this debate, and that is really where the American people are shaking their heads. I mean, I've been doing analysis of all of these, of public poll, all the public polling that's come out over the last week. And what people consistently say is they want to see compromise. They want to see a plan that both cuts spending and increases taxes on the wealthy. The only popular ways to fix our budget crisis are things that increase the taxes on the wealthy, not other things. These aren't my words. This are the results, the American people's words through Washington Post.
Paul, before you step in there, I want a follow-up question with Margie. Margie, are you afraid of being accused of class warfare with the way you're sounding?
I'm certainly not afraid, because I'm repeating what the American people want. This is what the American people want.
How do you know that that's what the American people want?
It's poll after poll after poll for months. That's what the American people want. When I talk to average voters, that's what they want. Now, when you talk to House Republicans who are saying we're talking about the job creators, they are out of touch. They are out of touch.
Because right now there's a poll out of ABC News. There was just one yesterday, I should say, and it covers the previous week. And the Washington Post and ABC News poll shows very clearly that 80% of Americans don't like the way either party is handling this. So that's a number that you might stick with. Go ahead, Paul.
Well, they definitely trust Obama more than they trust House Republicans. And
no, they like him. They don't necessarily trust him. His likability numbers are up.
He gets higher approval ratings on taxes.
Can we talk about the real poll here? There's a real poll out there that's most important. Should we be raising the debt ceiling again? And that's over 60% of Americans say no way. Over 60% of Americans have a realistic view of the problems economically we have in the country, as opposed to the White House, and most Democrats and some Republicans even, who say, oh, we just can continue to raise the credit limit. Oh, that's no problem. We shouldn't even be having this debate.
Okay.
Let's just do it. That means it's not a ceiling then, though. That means it's just a movable object that we just have to keep moving. Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter. Let's go to 50 trillion.
And all bipartisan folks and
for everybody to see this right now, okay? Okay, there we go, full screen. How would you vote on raising the debt limit? In favor? People saying 35%, against 60%. So, I mean, for both of you here, this is pretty. I mean, Margie, you brought this up. You wanted to see numbers.
Yeah.
People are willing to let this country do what you say it's going to do, go into default.